So the grand finals have been run and won. The Eagles have swooped in to take the AFL Premiership, while the Chooks are cock-a-hoop in the NRL. All this and a little bit more on the Kingsgrove Sports podcast, episode number 2. Really do like that intro music. Welcome everybody to the second episode of the KSC podcast. Today we are talking grand finals, and with me 2 new panelists. On my immediate left we've got Stephen Green, and on the far left is Bryden Sharp.
Morning, Stuart.
Morning, Sharpie. Hello, Stephen. How are you feeling?
Morning, Stuart. Yeah, great.
Yeah, good.
Need a bit more sleep, but
yeah, right. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. We'll start with the AFL. What a great grand final that was. Close game, over 100,000 screaming fans, and probably, well, at the start of the season, a little bit of a surprise winner in the West Coast Eagles.
Yeah, the Pies had it for 3.5 quarters, I reckon.
They had it for all of it.
Not a Collingwood fan, but just for someone just watching the game, you had to feel for the Collingwood fans. I mean, I know a lot of teams in Melbourne don't like Collingwood. It's a bit of a running joke down there, but West Coast just got them at the end. Just
hung in. I mean, so Collingwood started like a bull out of a gate. Massive first quarter. 5 goals or something in the first quarter. So they did a little bit like they did with Richmond and jumped them and got off to a great start. You think, hello, they're on here again. And then just West Coast just sort of just hung around enough. They just stayed in the contest enough. And then so basically, going into 3/4 time and everything's locked up on the biggest day of the year, heading into the last quarter, massive effort. Yeah.
Huge. Yeah, it's I mean, West Coast, they just kept growing as the game went on, and just slowly just stayed in touch, just kept chipping away, and then a few 50-50s go their way, a couple of calls that Pies fans are probably upset about.
I have apparently a Collingwood fan has started a petition about the umpiring. They're not happy with that, but I mean that happens in every grand final, I suppose. Someone's always got to lose, so someone's always got to be upset. But obviously that there was some pivotal moments, and obviously I mean the main one obviously for West Coast was that goal, that last goal, the goal that got them in front from the boundary line from Dom Sheed. How do you think you'd go? 100,000 fans, tucked in a pocket, goal to win the grand final. How do you think you'd be feeling on that one?
Yeah, look, I don't watch much AFL, but I always get up for the AFL grand final. Again, a fantastic game, and just 100,000 fans. The pressure of a kick like that to pretty much take the flag for your team, and he showed just calm, cool, collected, and the ball started to fade a bit, and then just snuck through.
Just nerves of steel, yeah. One would say. I mean, he's been in and out of the side. He was probably maybe only in thanks to Andrew Gaff taking up a boxing career a few rounds ago, and he's got in and he's produced a memorable moment. So well done to West Coast. Norm Smith medalist Luke Shuey. Stand-up player for the West Coast all season, and he had a great game, plenty of possessions, kicked a goal, I think, as well. So he was outstanding. So bad luck to Collingwood. Do you think maybe their banner tearing first up? Do you think that may have been an omen?
It wasn't a good start.
No, it wasn't.
Looking into those people's faces, and they were just shattered. A lot of crepe paper and tape goes into that work, and you're looking at, I don't know how many hours they spend on those banners. The West Coast one looked professional. It looked more like cloth as opposed to crepe paper, and it just opened nicely, and they walked away.
Speaking of devastated, what about the Port Collingwood runner as well that gave away a crucial goal? He was shattered at the end of it. Nice work from Nathan Buckley as well. He was he was tremendous, sort of supporting the cheer squad. And getting around them, and then also the runner too, and supporting him, because he was obviously devastated at the end of the game that he's given away a crucial goal, and they've only lost by the 5 points. So so the final score was West Coast 11-13-79, Collingwood 11-8-74. So look, you take that goal away, and it's all different, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, just the change in Nathan Buckley this season has been unbelievable. He's so calm. Like, last couple of years, he wants to rip and tear in the box. You see him throwing phones and punching desks. But now everything's relaxed. They ran onto the ground. The banner's on the ground. He goes and says, it's all right, guys, to the banner makers. Goes to the runner at full time and says, head up. It's not your fault. We got done. And just the way he spoke after the game as well, he's just showing it's a lot of respect for Nathan Buckley.
Yeah, he's certainly changed a lot. From all reports, obviously, they were struggling last season, and his job was on the line, and they had a big review, and he took that on board, which was obviously great from him, because now they've reached the AFL Grand Final. So tremendous effort from them. So West Coast to the winners, and we'll see how they can go next year.
Do you think Collingwood played their Grand Final a week early?
Look, I mean, it could have done that. It was that was another massive game against Richmond, a huge preliminary final, which again they weren't expected to win. Richmond were expected to win, and they came out and played fantastically well, massively, huge, fast start, built a big lead, and then again, they held off Richmond coming in. So it could have been a case of the fact that they might have done it the week before, whereas West Coast had a fairly easy win against Melbourne. But you never know. I mean, that could have gone against West Coast too. An easy game as opposed to a tough game. But traditionally West Coast are not great travellers. So to come over and win at the MCG. I mean, the last time they were there was about 3 years ago, and they were pretty ordinary in the grand final and got belted. So to come back and claim the prize is a big effort from them as well.
I think Optus Stadium helps West Coast and Fremantle now.
Yeah,
is the fact that the dimensions of the ground are very much like the MCG, so it'll make it easier for them, because they only play 1 or 2 games a year at the MCG. So
if they're lucky,
just getting to the shape. You speak to AFL players, and they say it's all about the space,
the shape and the space and stuff.
Different grounds. The SCG is small, and then you go to something like the MCG, and it's massive. So if that's an advantage for the Western Australian sides, then they're going to use it.
Yeah, because I mean, apparently when they wanted to build, they actually wanted it built more like Subiaco, the old oval that they played on, which is actually longer and thinner. But they made it more MCG like, which is proven to be a good result for them. Did something happen the other day, Stephen, that you might want to discuss?
The Blues won against. Who they play?
Queensland. Yeah,
I was watching it.
Yeah, it's good. No, look, if you can't read the shirt, and if you don't know, Stephen may support the Eastern Suburbs Roosters. So again, another massive grand final, NRL grand final, was the Sydney Roosters versus the Melbourne Storm, and what a game from the Roosters.
Dominant first 40 minutes, unbelievable. I think they completed at 91%. Roosters teams don't do that.
No,
they knock the ball on. They throw silly passes.
Give away a penalty or two.
Frustrate the hell out of their supporters because of the class that they've got. But to play like that on the biggest day of the year, I couldn't have been happier with the boys walking in the shed today, 18-0.
What about Melbourne, Brighton? They were to say they were probably un-Melbourne like, I would have thought.
I think that came from the Roosters being that good.
Yeah,
I think it really did throw them off their game early. I think they had one plan to beat the Roosters, and it didn't work.
No,
and they looked like they were scratching their head after 20 minutes, saying, "What have we run into here?"
Do you think they weren't expecting the Roosters to be that good?
I think they underestimated them a little bit. I do. But the Roosters are outstanding. I haven't seen a team be that dominant in a grand final for a long time.
Yeah.
In a half of football. to ask anyone to say that it'd be 18-0 at half time,
I don't think anybody would have thought.
Grand final.
No, not against Melbourne. I wouldn't have thought they would have thought that they would have been 18-0.
But I think we should go back to the start of the week. I've never seen a grand final with so much hype. For two reasons, obviously Cooper Cronk and
a bit of drama,
and Billy Slater.
Yeah,
what was wrong with him?
Who?
Cronk.
Oh, I don't know.
He was all right, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was okay. He was okay. He ran water well. I mean, he should have had a water bottle with him. I mean, he didn't.
His arm was in two places.
It's
two pieces. That's okay.
That's just the class of the bloke.
Well, I mean, let's get onto Cooper Cronk. So he was no chance at the start of the week, really, and he was probably no chance on grand final day. But they passed him medically fit to play. I think if you asked him to raise his arm above his head, he probably couldn't do it. But I haven't seen too many better grand final performances than that, I think, where you not really involved a great deal, but just the fact that he was out there and he could basically talk the team around was a huge effort.
It was virtually the Alan Langer.
Yeah.
Where Langer would have a water bottle in his hand and direct Brisbane around the park. At
least Cronk had a jersey on.
Yeah, at least he could have
and made a tackle. I mean, there was that one. I mean, he made about 9 tackles in the game. But there was that one tackle where he put his body on the line, on their line to stop Melbourne from scoring. That was, I mean, I thought that was a big play from a bloke who we found out has got his shoulder is actually broken scapula.
I think it brought out the best in Luke Keary as well.
Well, I mean,
having that responsibility of running the team.
Clive Churchill medalist. Luke Keary, he was outstanding. I mean, he stood up as well. I mean, I thought Tedesco was great as well.
Yeah. I bet South fans are loving that, seeing Keary do something like that. You know.
Yeah, thank you, Russell Crowe. Thank you.
Well done, mate. Thank you. Just let go of another one. So the Roosters outstanding. Melbourne flat at best.
Well, you got to look at the try Melbourne scored. It came against the run of play.
Well, it was intercept.
Keary.
Their attack was good, but the Roosters they muscled up against everything. And you saw that the week before against South.
The Roosters did have the best defence all year, didn't they?
Well, they were driving. Last tackle, the ball would go down 5 metres out. It hit their number one.
Yeah.
Whatever his name was, Slater.
New bloke.
Yeah, and they just drive him back.
Yeah.
Or he'd pass it to one of the wingers and they get driven back. So they're starting on the back foot and they've got to go 95, 100 metres to threaten.
Yeah. They just couldn't do it. I mean, they couldn't. I mean, even when they got down to inside the Roosters 20, I mean, they couldn't sort of put the bombs up for the wingers like they normally do. They just.
But it was very un-Melbourne. Like they just looked. There was just no structure there.
No.
Like I didn't even know Brodie Croft was playing.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously they might have been found out the fact that they didn't really have a halfback. Unfortunately, I thought Cameron Smith was pretty quiet. He didn't really have as much.
No runs. I don't think he had a run.
I don't think he sort of really got involved. And obviously, I mean. How do you think Cameron Munster's going to remember this grand final?
That was the other thing I was going to say. I only realised he was playing because of the grubbiness.
He got sin bin twice. I mean, not many people have been sin bin twice.
Yeah,
I think the last person. Did they say the last person to get sin bin in a grand final was Terry Lamb in 95?
Yeah.
So you don't normally get sin bin. And to do it twice.
That was a popular sin bin in his last game as well.
It was a big effort.
Well, it was supposed to be his last game, but he played another year. But but Munster, the kick at the end, I know it wasn't much, but send offable.
Well, yeah. Look, I mean,
to the rules of the game.
Back in the day, it was.
Yeah. I mean, he essentially got sent off because he got sent to the bench for 10, and it was only 4 minutes left, so he did get sent off. I think he's been charged with contrary conduct, and he's been fined $1,800 or something. But
you give him a week.
Yeah, I would have thought you'd give him, because
he's got plenty of money.
There's nothing.
Got plenty of money.
I mean, it's not really. It's probably not a deterrent, really, is it? I mean, it wasn't, and it's not what you want to see, especially in the grand final. I mean, you're losing, and that looks like really bad sportsmanship.
It was
for the ground. You just
total frustration.
Tap him in the back of the head. It's not a great thing. So, I mean, Billy got off, and Billy played, and obviously the crowd were really appreciative of that, because they cheered every time he got the ball. What do we think? What do we think of that? Do we think you think that might have been a bit much, or?
I think as a neutral fan, it's a bit unfair. because of the career the bloke's had. An amazing career, and he will be remembered as the best fullback to play rugby league.
Yeah.
Or just the impact on the games that he had over the years. I think he's a fantastic player. He's someone people love to hate.
True, yeah.
When he's got an Aussie jersey on, everyone loves him.
Everyone loves him, but Melbourne or Queensland, then you don't like him. And obviously,
it's exactly the same when Paul Gallen goes to Queensland. He gets booed every game.
Yeah,
it's just part of the it's just part of rugby league.
Yeah,
it's just how it is, and that's how fans react. Did it put him off his game? Probably.
I
not.
wouldn't have thought
Probably
so.
Not.
I wouldn't have
He's a true
thought so.
professional.
No,
It's not going to put him off his game. Unfortunately, he's gone out a loser. He didn't win. That's just what it comes down
to. Not everybody gets the fairy tale finish, do they? No. So
on behalf of Roosters supporters, I think they were booing. We were booing. I actually didn't boo much, to be honest. I was too nervous.
It's good of you, Stephen.
Yeah. The fact that he shouldn't have been there. Shouldn't have been there to begin with.
Yeah.
Well, in my eyes, it was a shoulder charge. It doesn't matter how you wrap it up and present it.
Yeah, well.
He's knocked the bloke out.
They must have presented it well.
Oh, it's beautiful work. But it wasn't because, it's his last game of his career. Roosters fans aren't worried about that.
No.
They're worried about their team winning that game. And, I've seen Twitter and Facebook and they're all, how it's terrible that they're booing this bloke. We booed Wally Lewis for goodness knows how long.
His entire career.
And he saw it as a sign
except
of
maybe
respect.
when he went to the Gold Coast.
He saw it as a sign of respect.
Well, yeah.
And, if you can't pay your money and walk into the ground and boo someone just as much as you want to cheer your own team.
Cheer your own team, yeah.
Well, how politically correct are we getting?
Well, yeah.
We only cheer good stuff.
Well, yeah,
we're giving everyone a participation award. Give me a spell. Come on. I mean, that'll do me.
Okay, all right, yeah.
That'll do me. The only thing I was a bit disappointed about was at full time. I think it was Freddie that spoke to him.
Yeah, spoke to him.
And they were still booing.
Probably did need that. Once the game's done and you've won, you can probably let it go.
But from minute 1 to minute 80, go
for your
nuts.
life.
Unless you're saying something you shouldn't be.
Yeah.
I'm quite happy with booing, and everyone's getting a little bit PC.
Yeah.
I think the end of the game when they announce the referees and the officials, it's usually the Prime Minister's there as well.
Usually the Prime Minister's
that's
there.
usually the biggest boo. But
biggest boo, yeah.
I think Billy got the biggest boo of the night.
So yeah, that's probably like you said, during the game, during the 80 minutes, if you don't like the bloke, you boo. But once it's done, you sort of need to put that past and pay respects to the blokes that go out there and play and leave it alone from there. I would have thought, it's done. I mean, like you got up, you won. It's not like he had any influence on the game, really. So that's a little bit disappointing. But I mean, I don't think it certainly doesn't take away from the Roosters' victory. Now, while Cronk had a busted shoulder, we obviously learned after the game that Blake Ferguson played the last half of the game with a broken leg.
Brave, very brave.
It's funny with Blake, you don't really know when he's seriously injured because after he gets up from a tackle, it's always something.
Yeah.
So you sort of, and he didn't actually, from what I saw, he didn't really show that he was hurt. And then for him to come out and say, he played the last half with a broken leg, I don't know how he did it.
No, I don't know how he did it either. No.
But that's gutsy. It's probably adrenaline.
Yeah.
You're that pumped. You're half an hour away from a premiership win. You're just running. You're running on adrenaline. Probably don't feel it for a while. So until after, he's probably still not feeling it now. No,
I would have thought
they're probably having a nap by now, seeing it's Tuesday morning. You'd hope.
You'd hope, yeah.
I mean, you got Tedavano, who's apparently done a bicep as well. So they've come away battered and bruised.
It was
But they got that bit of diamonds or whatever it's made out of that ring on their finger. I don't think
whatever it is. Yeah. Cubic zirconia.
Pain's temporary.
I think
winning's forever.
Another thing we've got to look at is where to for Melbourne now.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. So I mean, I know
Slater was everything on the go-to man.
Yeah.
Everything was out the back to Slater. and the Roosters combated that really well.
Yeah.
But what's the plan for Melbourne now that he's gone?
So I mean, they asked Smith if he was playing next year, and he says, "Oh, I don't have a contract. If I get a contract, I'll play." But I'm just now that because they've lost, he might play on. You think? I think if they won, he probably would have retired. He would have thought. So it'd be interesting to see how they go. Yeah, do they need to find? I mean, do they need to find a halfback, someone to go with Munster, who's going to play fullback now for them.
And then on the other foot, does Cronk retire? Because he's going to have to go under the knife. It's going to be quite a serious operation.
It's only a 2 year. It was only a 2 year deal, and whether or not he's going to keep going.
It's a pretty good way to go out.
Not a bad way to go out. Yeah. I'm not sure you're going to play a better game than that, really.
Under the circumstances.
Well, touch the ball a little bit more would have been handy.
Well, didn't look like he needed to. Didn't look like he needed to, but he wasn't necessary.
Throw him the blue shirt and just let him be a trainer.
Just run the waterline. Just say, mate, you can do what Alfie does. Yeah. So I mean, that would be interesting because he's after having sold a reconstruction, so I think he's probably really not going to be available early rounds, depending on what's got to get done. So whether or not he wants to come back and play, finish out the contract.
Steve, do you think Sean O'Sullivan's ready for NRL?
I don't care now. He's going to the Broncos.
He's
gone for 2 years. Yeah.
Okay.
Look, he looks.
Well, then he might have to play then.
Yeah. Well.
Have you got another?
No interest.
It's the Roosters. Of course, they've got someone.
Next question.
Next, of course, they do.
Who's the current South halfback? Because I'm sure he'll be in the Roosters colours next year.
Reynolds will be making the switch, will he?
No, thanks.
Oh, okay. So bread roast not that big, is it?
Oh, here we go. Unbelievable.
Surprised he's not wearing it, actually.
No, I couldn't fit in the studio.
I saw the lady at full time in tears
wearing the sombrero on. Yeah.
And I think that made the victory for all the Roosters fans a lot sweeter. That all the jibes we get for rattle them off. No fans. So
how many of the 80,000 actually supported the Roosters?
Oh, I tell you what, the noise coming out of that ground was biggest I've heard for a Roosters game. Especially the East chant. It's a fantastic chant. And it's just sort of passion in it. Went back to the Leagues Club after the game, didn't get in, so just everyone relax. stood outside, and the team came out and addressed the crowd, and Trent Robinson said, "Well, we're not bad for a team without soul." It's another thing we get bagged about. We buy all these players. I think it's a lot of jealousy. And it just makes the victory all the more sweeter.
Can you go back to back?
Oh, well, Melbourne's proved it's hard.
I think everybody since 92, 93 proved it's difficult, haven't they?
I don't know. They've got the lineup. I mean, Crichton's coming in for Madison next season. I don't know. He didn't finish the best for South Sydney. Which is fantastic. But, possibly.
Yeah.
All depends. It's a long time, 12 months.
Yeah.
Get over this one first and then weigh it up in March when we move to the cricket ground for round one.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know how that'll go. Allianz was an awesome stadium to watch football at.
SCG is very bad to watch football. It's so far away.
I mean, it's not
the angles.
It's not a football ground, but yeah.
So, have to find a good spot.
A little bit, man. Obviously, a bit retro, back to the old days.
It is. I think that's what the Roosters media's beating it up as we're returning to one of the spiritual homes.
So you change your name back to the Eastern Suburbs Roosters, or?
Oh, I'd love that. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Sydney City. It's just marketing.
Yeah.
All the supporters know it's East, Eastern Suburbs, whatever you want to call us. I've heard worse, but that's where we're from. They wanted to attract more fans by using Sydney and then moving into Sydney. it was all around the Super League war time, trying to garner some support away from teams like Cronulla, who jumped ship. But yeah, they'll always be to the fans. Will always be East.
Eastern suburbs, yeah.
Yep.
And obviously there was also a couple of other grand finals on a big grand final day. So nice to see that the Bulldogs took a bit of state pride and beat the Dolphins in the ISP Challenge, which was good. And they flogged them basically as well, didn't they?
Well, the last three have been floggings to New South Wales sides. So I think Penrith put the cleaners through Papua New Guinea.
Yep.
And
Illawarra
beat Tweed, I think.
Yeah.
Beat Tweed or flogged Tweed. Look, it's really good for lower grade rugby league in New South Wales, and sort of that's a passion of mine. Lower grade rugby league in New South Wales, and it shows in the results. The Bulldogs finished fourth.
Yeah, and got up
in a very good New South Wales or Intrust Super Premiership competition.
Beat Newtown. In the grand final.
18-12, after being down 10-0.
Yeah.
But that Bulldog side, on paper, I've said it all year, on paper, they should win that competition hands down.
Good team they've got. Really
good team.
They had a couple of blokes out too. They had Frawley out.
Yeah.
So he's got a bit of NRL experience, and he was out, and they still managed to get up.
And they had Lachlan Lewis at the start of the year as well.
Yeah.
And he wasn't allowed to come back and play, and Remus Smith. So there's a lot more potential there that they could have had. But the side on paper was phenomenal. Like the forward pack was pretty much an NRL forward pack.
Yeah.
Greg Eastwood playing his last game was big. And I thought Lockie Burr off the bench was outstanding. Just every carry and hit, he was fantastic. And I don't know if he's re-signed for next year, but he'd be a good pickup for any club.
Yeah.
I'll have a word to Uncle Nick, see if we can get him across the Roosters.
I'm sure you've got some room. You never spend all your caps, so it's okay. And then in the women's premiership, the Broncos continue to be the dominant team and won that pretty comprehensively. They've been the standout in that 4 week tournament. So
yeah, it's a bit of a fast really to award a grand final on 3 round games.
It's interesting. Yeah.
Again, it is building women's rugby league. There's obviously a New South Wales based competition for women's rugby league, the Harvey Norman Women's Premiership.
Yeah,
with teams from Sydney and one from country New South Wales in it, and it is a strong competition. Mount Pritchard won that, or Mounties won that.
Yeah,
they beat South a few weeks ago, and a South side with a number of Australian players in it.
Yeah, so
Mounties had one, so they
good effort.
Yeah, they really did. They built a really good side around that player.
Yeah.
And played really good football. Beat South twice in the season, and South were the Redfern All Blacks last year in the competition,
right?
And were rebranded as South, and it was a big effort from Mounties to win that, and it shows women's rugby league is on the up.
Yeah,
they have a 19s tournament as well, which is played in conjunction with the boys 18s and 16s at the start of the year, which Cronulla won that undefeated. So that's 2 premierships for Cronulla this year because we won the 20s as well. So the Jersey flag, which was outstanding.
Yeah, so you won the real premierships then.
That's it.
Right, fair enough.
But to do with the NRL women's premiership, I think it's taken a lot of good players away from where they were.
Yeah, right.
The clubs where they were playing. The plan for the future, I don't know.
I think they're looking. Obviously, they're building it slowly. They're sort of doing it a little bit different to, say, like the AFLW, where they put in a few more teams. I think they just want to try and build it slowly. So they started with a smaller tournament, and they'll build it into the future. So hopefully, as it grows and more women and girls play the game, then it'll continue to go and get a lot better.
I think that maybe they should play each other twice.
Yeah, would have been. Maybe go.
Maybe home and away, whatever you want to do, however you want to do it. Give them a bit more time to get into the season. 3 weeks is just
was a bit. It's probably.
I know you got to start somewhere, but
it was over before it started, sort of thing. It was more of a publicity thing for the finals.
Might have been a bit too short. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, go.
I would have loved to see like an 8 or 9 week tournament.
Yeah.
what they do at the start of the year.
Well, if you could play it twice, you're probably looking at, you'll get into it, you'll probably get into, you at least get it 6 weeks and then,
I still think Brisbane would have won it though. They were fantastic.
In the games, in the bits that I saw, they seemed to be a class above everybody else. So
did they miss a trick not putting it before the NRL?
No.
You don't? No. I think. Okay.
I think that would have been a kick in the guts to the reserve grade boys, because they are the level behind NRL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that. I mean, just for promotion of the women's game.
Crowd-wise, yes.
Yeah.
They probably did.
Because the premierships have already done one with the reserve grade.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's more of just a bit of a showpiece for state versus state rivalry.
Yep. I think it comes back to your TV rights as well. That's probably the biggest one.
Possibly. Yeah. All right. So then, what do we think about next year? I know we've just finished one, but looking into the crystal ball for next season. I mean, I could probably guess who you two blokes are going to be picking.
So are we going to do our first and last for the year?
Yeah, why not? Let's just see how we go. I
think Penrith will be the minor premiers.
Right. Yeah. And
last is difficult because I had Parramatta in my top 4 this year.
Well, yeah.
On paper.
Yeah.
And they were a real disappointment. Probably someone like the Titans, or haven't recruited that well. But I think the surprise packet will be Newcastle. I think Newcastle will make the 8 next year.
Yeah, should keep doing it.
And give it a good. They probably won't win it, but they'll give it a good nudge.
Yeah.
The Roosters Retirement Village, Newcastle.
Yeah.
Well, it goes without saying who's going to be number 1. Number 16. Whoa.
Well, I should have said St George, shouldn't I? Yeah. As a Cronulla fan, that's what I should have said. But
Manly, maybe.
Yeah.
Something not right in the club at the moment.
No, I don't think they're going to fix it easy. Yeah, I'm picking Manly to be down the bottom again.
I think it's rotting from the head down.
Yeah,
so something's got to give, and whether they've got time.
Could be tough. Could be tough from there. I mean, obviously, I'm hoping for a Tigers victory. But
I think they'll be big improvers.
Well, but yeah, hopefully we'll improve. Hopefully we'll make the finals this time. I agree. I think Newcastle will be in there somewhere.
Is Ivan still on the bus?
I think, yeah. I'm hoping he's still driving it. Yeah, he's agreed to drive for 2 years.
Well, now Nathan's re-signed at Penrith.
Nathan's re-signed at Penrith, so I don't know what sort of Gus is doing in the background, but. Hopefully he drives the bus for another 2 years, because I think he can do a good job there, and we can play some good football. So Manly will come last, and then I mean you're looking, there's every chance Melbourne will still come first. Craig Bellamy will just do what he always does, and they can come first. But then you never know. Parramatta, just in one of their Parramatta cycles, they might come first and take it the minor premiership. So.
We're just clutching at straws at the moment. It is too hard to tell.
Yeah,
you got to really wait until you're probably around 7 or 8.
There'll be a whole lot of off-season dramas in between. Yeah. Between now and then. So we'll wait and see what.
What does that lead us into the newest drama that we've just found out with Greg Inglis? Just named Australian captain and then gets done DUI on his way home from the Koori knockout.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting to see how that plays out, and what they do with that. Not a good look obviously for the game. But as we know, that's what rugby league thrives on, isn't it? Really.
You just had a wonderful grand final, and then this will take all the headlines.
Yep.
Pride of the league.
Yeah. So
South Sydney. So they call themselves. Okay.
Which is a bit unfortunate. But anyway, we'll go back to the good news story, and we'll celebrate the Roosters grand final victory.
Okay.
I'm sure you're quite happy to do that, Stephen. Anything you'd like to say on behalf of the club in closing?
No, it was an awesome year. Let's do it again next year.
Fair enough.
Short and sweet. Let's get on it.
Short and sweet. And obviously, if you've got anything to say, you can contact us via social media platforms. Instagram is at Kingsgrove Sports.
Yeah.
Facebook is also at Kingsgrove Sports.
Yeah, I'll stop you there because we kind of not that it's necessary. You guys got rolling so fast into NRL and AFL stuff, which was great. But we actually didn't do any kind of proper introductions. I'm sitting over here in the corner still.
Oh, I apologise for that, Nick. We were just so keen to get into the
You really were. We've been listening to Steve for the better part of half an hour. And nobody knows who he is.
I couldn't let. Well, no, I introduced Steve, and people would know Steve.
Roosters supporter.
Possibly. He's a Roosters supporter.
We just grabbed him off the street. We don't know who he is.
We saw him wearing the t-shirt.
I had to find
sleeping under the tree at the front.
I had to find a Roosters supporter. So he was just out from Mad Monday. So I just grabbed him.
He was hard to find. There's not many of them.
No,
apparently.
well, exactly. I mean, exactly. That's why I grabbed him.
I've heard Kingsgrove's a great place to turn up at.
He was just walking down the street and it's like, hey, he's got that shirt on.
Well, a few people might be familiar with Steve Grant. He's done a bit of commentary work in the for Cricket Australia in the live streams at Kingsgrove. He looks after our club order department. He's a St George District Cricket Club legend with many a first grade premiership and a ton of first grade wickets. So currently, also just because he loves Eastern Suburbs so much, he's also the assistant coach at Eastern Suburbs Cricket Club at the moment. So not only do you love the football club, you've just you do. Yeah, you don't live in the Eastern Suburbs, though, do you, Stephen? No, you haven't gone quite that far yet.
So what's your history as a Rooster supporter then?
Just family, just grew into it.
Yeah, right.
Born red, white, and blue, and just been going for the last probably 25 years as a season ticket holder with Dad. He missed the grand final. He was out injured with a torn meniscus, which was a bit disappointing, but. He was at home cheering on, and it was good.
It's good. And, of course, there is not a more passionate Cronulla Sharks supporter than Bryden Sharp. Not only is he a massive Cronulla Sharks fan, he is, as he said, he is a big supporter of local rugby league. You can see him around the grounds taking some fantastic photos for local publications of all the junior rugby league tournaments and the reserve grade tournaments around. And he's also a fantastic warehouse manager. Looks after all our warehouses here at Kingsgrove. So massive league fans here. And you are also a North Melbourne fan, aren't you?
I am,
Stephen. But
it's always next year.
Probably, and maybe the year after that.
We're the new Richmond. We've just come ninth.
You're the new Richmond.
Just come ninth.
Well, no, I think, but last couple of years it's been if you come 13th, you generally win. But Collingwood ruined that. Because they came 13th last year and then they lost. So, so maybe you can come 9th and then win. So you might be all right. Might be right. And Sharpie, I'm not sure when Port Adelaide will win a flag again.
Well, I just grabbed them because of the colours. So,
yeah.
It's sort of
nice colours, but
you should plug your photography stuff if you feel like it. Like Bryden's a really talented sports photographer.
Yeah, started my own business, obviously, away from this. I needed something to do on the weekends. So
you want to toss everybody where they can find your work?
Yeah. Obviously, it's more New South Wales Rugby League competition. So the lower grade stuff, from the 16s through to the open age stuff. But I was lucky enough to do some NRL this year, which was an amazing experience. Got to do the Anzac Day game, which is the Dragons and the Roosters. Unfortunately, the Dragons won that, but the crowd there was amazing. Like it was just and the special. It's just a special day with the obviously the Anzac celebrations, and I also got to do the double header at Suncorp, which was amazing place to photograph at. So I've got my own website, which is www.bsphotos.com.au. And I've only started it this year, and it's been really good. I've got connections with Asquith Magpies and Mounties, so they've done some business, this season, which is really good. So I've been doing it for about 7 or 8 years as a volunteer for a magazine, and writing for that magazine since 2008. So sort of went out on my own this year, and it's been really good. So
you get social media where people can find you?
Yeah, I've got Instagram at Bryden Sharp Photography and Facebook at Bryden Sharp Photography.
Yeah, check out his pictures, man. It's really great.
Yeah, good. Sorry, Nick, I did forget to introduce producer.
Okay.
I do apologise. So maybe you could give out the socials because
I could do that.
I'm not great at it.
Sure,
so
no, I could do that. Yeah. Well, then I guess I'll start our music over here. If you're ready to wrap it up, I'll get going. Which, man, gosh, before I forget, I realize now during the week, right, that the last episode where we talked about going into the grand final.
Yes.
You guys, I thought for some reason you'd mentioned the Rabbitohs, and so I made a joke about Dave Solomon's team losing, thinking
that's okay.
Thinking Rabbitohs in the grand final.
No, they
mistaken.
didn't quite get there.
No.
They lost the game before.
Not quite.
Just fell short.
Unfortunately.
What a shame.
Oh dear.
But I guess now I'm gonna give
drive a man a drink doing that.
I guess I've been given the nice responsibility of taking us out. So we really look forward to hearing from you guys. Anybody that might be watching or listening, please reach out to us. We have the video version of the podcast on YouTube at youtube.com/Kingsgrove Sports Center. Our Facebook is also at Kingsgrove Sports Center. Instagram at Kingsgrove Sports, and Twitter with Kingsgrove Sport with no S, because Twitter handles can only be so long. We're also on iTunes and Spotify. So any place you feel like listening to the podcast or watching us here on YouTube, we'd love to have you. Reach out to us. Use the hashtag KSC podcast so we know you're trying to get our attention. Anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.
Go the Roosters.
Catch you next time.